Welcome to another Zelda Ocarina of Time video, and in today's video, you guessed it, we're in the dreaded water temple. But don't worry, I'm going to show you where all the secrets and items are in this temple, how we're going to get around places, and how to defeat the mini-bosses and the main boss. First, we need to talk about the layout of this temple, because it can be quite confusing, and I want to be able to give clear direction. So we'll go over the temple layout first, and then we'll jump into the actual video. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and obey. Okay, so the first thing we need to know about the water temple is that it's 3 stories high. So part of the directions will be whether we're on the first floor, second floor, or third floor. The next thing we need to know is on each level there's 4 different directions we can go. So let's say you just walk into the temple, that would be the south side of the temple. If you were to make a right, we'd head to the east side. If you made a left, we'd head to the west side. And if you go straight to the other side of the entrance, we're on the north side of the temple. That means we have 3 floors and 4 directions, so there's 12 different paths. But wait, there's more. This temple also floods. Sometimes the water's to the first floor and you can go anywhere freely. Sometimes the water's up to the second story, sometimes it's up to the third story, and depending on where the water level is at, changes your interaction with each of the 12 paths. I'll show you how to change water levels when we get inside the temple. To make things easier, I'll leave this water graph up on the side so you can always see in the video what level the water's at. With that explained and out of the way, let's jump into the water temple. When you first get to the water temple, you're going to be in the 3rd floor on the south wing, and the water level is up to the 3rd floor, but you want to start by casting Furore's Wind. The first path we're going to take is going to be the east hallway on the 3rd floor. You'll see a puddle of water in the back, jump in and put your metal boots on. Down here at the end of the hall, you'll see a block we can move, pull it out one spot, you'll see why later. Then you can take your metal boots off and head back to the main chamber of this temple. Jump in the water and put your metal boots back on, because this time we need to take the east hallway on the 1st floor. This is where we meet Ruto. The princess wants our help taking down the temple, and we're going to have to change the water levels, which she can show us how to do. Take off your metal boots and let's follow Princess Ruto up to the 3rd story, where we're going to find some dry land and a door we can go through to a room that has 4 new enemies. We're going to need to take them down. Defeating all the enemies in this room will make a chest appear, and inside that chest we can find a dungeon map that'll make getting around this temple a bit easier. Head back out of this room into the room we just came from, but don't jump back into the water hole yet. Instead, pull out your ocarina and play Zelda's Lullaby by this placard that has a Triforce on it. With the water levels lowered, we're going to head back to the Princess Ruto room we were just in. Now this torch in the middle is lit, and we have 2 unlit torches on the side. But as opposed to using your arrows to light both those torches, I would suggest using Din's Fire, because it'll light all the torches at once and unlock the door for you easily. In this room, we're up against a new type of enemy known as a Shell Blade, but I like to call him my little clam boy. Wait until your clam boy opens his mouth and you can hit the tendons with a hook shot and kill him instantly. Take out all 3 of these to reveal a chest in the middle of the room that has a small key. This is the first of 6 small keys we need for this dungeon. Now it's time to head back to the main room of this temple. This time we're going to take the path on the south wing on the 1st floor. This is below the main entrance of the temple. Head to the back of this hallway. The tile on the floor in the back of this hall is weak and can be blown up with a bomb. Then you can jump in the water and put your metal boots on to get to a new hallway with a clam boy. But don't fight him, just take your metal boots off, because you can just swim right over this guy's head. Then you can make it into the next room where we'll climb out of the water onto this ledge. Hitting the switch is going to raise the water level and this snake tower, so we can stand on the platform and hookshot our way up to the bigger ledge. Here we have 2 Tektites to deal with. Once they're taken out, we need to hit a switch on the other side of this fence. You can do that with your big Goron sword or spin attack with the Master Sword. Either way, once you get in the room, there's a gold Skulltula on the wall we can take care of, and then you need to pick up the token proving you killed it in the coolest way possible. For me, that's going to be a backflip. Now we need to get ourselves a 2nd key. We need 2 for the next area, so head back to the main room and this time take the west path on the 1st floor. Push this block to the back of the hallway and it'll fall into a pool of water. Then we can dive down into that pool of water to get into the next area. That Tektite enemy is going to give you some trouble, so get him off the ledge before we hit this switch that raises a water platform so we can jump across to the next room. In this next room you'll see a whirlpool, and if you look in there you'll see a dragon. That's why we call it the dragon room. Put on your metal boots and land on the dragon's tail. From the dragon's tail, you can pull out your hook shot and hit a switch located in the dragon's mouth. This is what raises the gate on the right-hand side over here. Then you need to hurry and hook shot your way over to the area before this gate closes. But if it does close, don't worry. Stand on the far left corner here and you can just barely hit that switch again. The fence has 2 clam boys hidden behind it. Either move out of the way or destroy them to make sure you get on the other side of the fence before it closes again. Then take off your metal boots to float to the next room. In this room, we're going to find a chest that has the 2nd small key that we need. Now we need to go back to the the main room of this temple, so use Furor's Wind and that'll teleport us back to the south side of the 3rd story. Before we go anywhere though, make sure you cast Furor's Wind again. After that, we can head to this tower in the middle of the temple. The south side door is locked, that's the one we want to go through. Inside the room, step forward, turn around and look up, and you'll see there's a hookshot spot we can get to. Hookshot your way up here to see a familiar placard up on the wall. Pull out your ocarina and play Zelda's Lullaby to raise the water level in the temple to floor 2. This is the part of the water temple where everybody gets confused on. You can see as the water level goes up here, so does this wooden block, creating an open passage beneath it. That's where we want to go, but if you watch this cutscene, it kind of makes it seem like you want to stand on this block and head out through this door that just became available on the 2nd floor. But if you did, you'd be trapped and you'd have to raise the water level back up and then all the way back down, cycling this whole temple again. Don't go out that door. Instead, what you're going to do is put on your metal boots. That'll make you sink back down until we're on this platform below you that's now underwater. Then jump down the hole that was revealed when the wooden block floated up to the 2nd floor. Down here, you're going to find a hallway that leads to a room with a switch. Hitting that switch releases a trap with a bunch of enemies. Once you've defeated all the spikes and clam boys, you can take off your metal boots and float up into the new room that was revealed. Up here we can find a chest that has the 3rd small key we need. We're all done on this path for now, so let's use Furor's Wind to teleport us back to the beginning of the water temple. Now that we're back at the beginning of the temple, make sure you cast Furor's Wind. This time we're taking the east hallway on the 2nd story. You'll know you're in the right spot because there's 2 little pots sitting by the entrance of the hallway. Head down this hallway until you come up to some spikes. There's a platform we can hookshot to from here, and then from this platform we can hookshot to the ceiling of the room above us. Before we hit the switch in this room, make sure you're standing by the chest surrounded by the water. Then hit the switch and open the chest to pick up the compass. Now we can navigate this temple much easier. Now that we have the compass, we need to get a couple more small keys, so head back to the main room of the temple or use Furor's Wind to get there. If you do though, make sure you cast it again so we can come back here later. Now that we're back in the main room, we're going to be taking the east path once again, but not on the 2nd story. We want the 1st story this time, so put on your metal boots, head to Rudo's room, and then you can take them off and float up to the 2nd story on the east path. Last time we were here, this whole room was underwater, but now that it's not, we can light a fuse on a bomb to blow a hole into the wall to get to a room with a chest that has another small key we need. At this point, you should have 3 small keys, and if you do, use Furor's Wind to head back to the beginning of the temple. Now that we have, can you guess what we're going to do next? That's right, we're going to cast Furor's Wind again. And now let's take these 3 keys down the west hallway on the 2nd story. You can use your hookshot or just swim over there since the water's at the 2nd level. In this room, you're going to see there's a little water platform you can stand on, but don't stand on it yet because there's a Tektite waiting to jump down and ambush you. Once he jumps down, take care of him, then we can stand on the water platform, turn around and use our bow and arrow to hit the switch on the other side of the room that'll raise the water level to the next floor. Up in this room, there's only one option, a door to go through that leads back to the main room, but when you get there, you'll see on the wall there's a familiar placard that helps us raise the water level. With the water level on the 3rd story, you should have 2 keys at this point. If you do, then take the west path again on the 3rd story through this locked door. When you enter this room, there's going to be 2 bats on the wall you want to take care of first before they can attack you. Then we can go up to this ledge and jump off. Because there's a ledge down here we need to stand on and then use our hook shot to hit one of the other many ledges falling down this waterfall. But don't stay on that ledge, keep using your hook shot to make your way up the waterfall safely to the next area, and then we can go through this door. In this room, we'll see a bunch of snake statues, as well as a switch in the middle of the water, but take out a few Tektites before you hit that switch if you can. Hitting the switch in this room is going to raise and lower the water levels, as well as these little snake towers, which gives us spots we can hookshot to. So take out any Tektites that might come after you, and then hookshot your way over to the next ledge here. From this platform, hit the switch to lower the water levels and the snake statue across the way. Now you can pull out your hookshot and use it to get to the next ledge, and then climb over the snake head that we just lowered, and when you're on the other side, hit that switch again so that we can raise the snake statues again to get to the final platform over here with this last snake statue. Just use your hookshot to get there. On this final platform, you're going to want to hit the switch again to lower all of the snake statues and the water level. Then we can turn around and climb on top of this snake statue. Then we can hit the switch another time, and that'll raise the snake statue, acting as an elevator so we can get to the final ledge of this room. And then up here, you're going to have to deal with 2 Tektites and a like. Take the like out with your bow and arrows before you hookshot over the spikes. And before you go to the next room, there's 2 pots with some magic jars inside. This next room is going to be a mini boss fight, and this part's pretty cool. Watch as Link walks across the water. water. You can see his reflection down in the water just like the other items in this room. But then once we pass this tree, if you look down in the water, his reflection is no longer there. That's because his reflection hopped out and is standing by the tree. This is Dark Link. You gotta fight him next. Dark Link is a copy of yourself, but he doesn't have all the same tools you've picked up along the way. So I tried using the Warhammer on him, but that didn't do much good. So next I tried Deku Nuts to freeze him and stab him, but he blocked that too. The best results I had in this fight were with my big Goron sword. Just equip that and start swinging wildly. You'll notice now that the fight's over, my reflection's gone completely. I'm like a real-life Peter Pan over here. Head through the door we did not come through. In this room, you're going to see a bigger chest that has a big prize in it for you. The best prize in this temple. It's the Longshot. It upgrades your hook shot to shoot twice as far. Now we can get to new places in this temple. Don't head back to the beginning of the temple yet. Instead, pull out your ocarina and play the Song of Time. This will remove a time block behind the chest and lead to a new area where Navi warns us about not getting swallowed by vortexes, which is a valid concern. You'll see once we jump in the river and get around the corner, there are vortexes to avoid. And once you avoid the first one, go ahead and put on your metal boots. That'll make it easier. Then start walking towards that gold Skulltula. With your metal boots on and your blue tunic, we can use our hook shot and stand safely on the ground to collect the gold Skulltula that's above this next vortex. Then take the token to prove we killed it. Once you've collected the token, we're going to walk past this vortex carefully. But then you're going to want to take your boots off because we need to swim onto this ledge to the left. Just be careful you don't get swallowed up. From this ledge, we can use our bow and arrow to activate this eye switch. That's going to make the gate to our left open, but it's going to close pretty quickly, so you're going to have to hurry and swap over to your new long shot and use that to get to the chest before the gate closes. In this chest, we'll find ourselves another small key. But we still need another small key, and there's new Skulltulas to grab, so let's use Furore's Wind to head back to the beginning of this temple. Now that we're back at the beginning of the temple and you use Furore's Wind, it's time to cast it again so we can come back here quickly. Now that we have the long shot, there's several new gold Skulltulas and a small key we can get. We're going to start by taking the east hallway on the first floor. That's Rudo's room. Go up to the top and use your ocarina to bring the water levels back down to the first floor. Now that the water levels are down, head back to the main room, and we want to go in the first floor entrance of this middle tower. In here, just like before, we're going to go forward, turn around, use our hook shot to get up to the ledge that had the spot where we would raise the water levels, but don't raise it yet. Instead, use your long shot to get this gold Skulltula up on the very top of the room. Then you can turn around and use your ocarina on this sign to make the water levels come up to floor 2. As opposed to the last time we were here, this time we are going to take the exit on the second floor. It takes us where we need to go next, which this time is the southern path on the second story while the water is at the second floor. Use your bow and arrow to hit the eye switch. That raises this gate, and then you're going to have to use your long shot very quickly to get to that spot before the gate closes. Head to the end of this hall. There's going to be a block we need to push. Now this is the same block we pushed in the beginning of this temple, which saves us a ton of time and makes it so we can go straight into this new open room with a chest. Inside that chest is the final small key we need for this dungeon, and at this point you should have 2 small keys in your inventory. Now you can either use Furore's Wind to head back to the beginning of the temple, or use your long shot at the end of this hallway to get to a ledge that brings you back to the main room. Time to put your metal boots on, because this time we're taking the north path on the first floor while the water is on the second floor. Swim down here, take off your metal boots, and come back up to an area we couldn't get past earlier, but now that we have a long shot and an extra small key, it's no problem to get past these spikes and through the door. When we get into this next room, you'll see a giant pool with a ton of different currents, and there's vortexes, and there's boulders coming out of the wall, and tektites everywhere. Take care of as many tektites as you can before you try swimming across so you don't get sucked into a vortex. Once you get into this room, we're going to need some bombs, and if you don't have any, don't worry. Those 2 pots over in the right-hand corner of the room, those pots have bombs in them. The other big part of this room is a new enemy. These little guys are called stingers, and you can take them out in the water with your hook shot, but if you get too close, careful, they'll come out of the water. Then you might need to use your sword to protect yourself. Either way, kill them all. With them out of the way, we can now put bombs against this weak spot on the wall. You can also see the wall is discolored, and it clearly makes a path that you need to open up. Bomb both sides, and then we can reveal a path path behind it that's got a giant stone block inside that we're going to need to move. And this part can be a little bit frustrating because you're going to have to pull the block from one side, but then you're kind of trapped, so you have to run around and push it from the other side, then run back and pull it again, and then we got to run around to the other side and push it one more time till it gets to this switch. The switch raises the water level, and once it's raised enough, we can climb onto this ledge and then climb these bigger stairs to make it through the door to the next room. When we get into this room, you'll see there's a switch on the floor, a big gap, and a couple tektites. When you step on the switch, that's going to unlock the door, but not for long. You have to hurry and jump across these water paths to make it, so take care of the tektites first if you can. Once you get into this room, head straight forward, and surprise, you'll get hit in the face by a boulder. But what's behind that boulder is important. You can see there behind the waterfall there's a gold Skulltula, so pull out your hook shot and kill it and then collect the token. I'm slowly sliding backwards though because I don't have my metal boots on, so you might need those. With your metal boots on, head up to the waterfall and you'll sink down to another area, and then around the corner we'll have to fight a clam boy. Once he's taken care of, you can take your boots off to float up into the next area. Now get up onto the ledge and head over to unlock the last small key door in this temple. In this room, you're going to see a nice big boss key chest. Open it up and collect the boss key, but we're not going to head there yet. We still have another gold Skulltula to find. Before you leave this room, there's 2 pots behind the chest, and each pot has a fairy in it, so make sure you empty your bottles that don't have fairies and refill them with these ones. With that out of the way, we're going to use Farore's Wind to head back to the beginning of the temple. But you don't need to cast Farore's Wind anymore. We're all done with that. Next thing we need to do is raise the water level to the 3rd level, so head through the door on the west path on the 2nd floor. This is the room we've been in before, where you have to wait for the tektite to come down, kill him, then you can stand on the waterfall and hit the switch to push yourself up into the next room. Here there's one door you can go through that leads to a plaque on the wall. This is where you pull out your ocarina and play Zelda's Lullaby to raise the water level back up to the 3rd story. Now let's go pick up that last gold Skulltula. We want to go through the west door again, but this time it's on the 3rd story. This is the same path we took to get to Dark Link. When you get in this room, take care of the 2 bats in the beginning of the hallway so they don't get you, and then from here you can use your new Longshot to hit that gold Skulltula all the way across on the wall. Once you kill him, don't forget to pick up the token to prove you did. That was the last thing to collect in this temple, so let's head back out of this room. To get to the boss room, we're going to want to take the north path from the main area on the 3rd story. There's a big snake statue with a Longshot spot we can use to get across the gap. Before we leave this room, there's 2 small pots by the door. Each one has a fairy inside, so empty any bogus bottles you have and collect these fairies instead. Now we can head into the next room. In this room, you're going to see a ramp with 3 spikes blocking you. Just head all the way to one side or the other. Running up the side here as opposed to the middle makes it so the spikes don't come close to you nearly as often. Now we can head into the main fight and get out of this temple. You'll notice there's spikes all across the walls on the boss room and 4 platforms in the middle of the water. Jump onto one of these platforms. Now jump off these platforms and head over to the corner of the room. This is where we're going to fight this guy and we're going to need our Longshot. Now we're going to lure the boss over to the corner of the room and wait for an arm to start coming out of the water like this. When it does, you're going to need to back up all the way into the corner so it can't grab you. Now you want to use your hook shot and wait for the brain to come out of the arm. Then pull it out, walk around it, and start attacking it with your sword. This is how we damage the boss easiest. Let me show you why I don't fight him on these middle platforms. And that's why we don't fight him from the middle platforms. Just stick to fighting him in the corner like this. It might take a little longer, but it's much safer. I've also seen videos of people one-cycling this boss because they were able to trap the brain in the corner, which takes a lot of work and a bit of luck. It's not easy to do, but you can at least get a couple hits in before he goes back into the water. But let's keep trying to do this trick. We're going to wait for the brain to come out, and we're going to pull him over with our hook shot. And then I realized you can use the hook shot multiple times to get that brain right where you want him before you attack him. This is how you one-cycle the brain, and if any of you were able to one-cycle it, please let me know in the comments below. With the boss defeated, make sure you pick up your heart container piece before you go through the warp. It's very easy to leave this temple without collecting the heart container piece. Now we can head to the Chamber of Sages. And that, my friends, is how we take down the infamous Water Temple in The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. If you have any other comments, strategies, or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. In the next video, we'll be tackling the Shadow Temple. And as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and obey.